Hello, Jeff here again from Hanging by the Moments. Though it's been a while since I've made a video, let's just say I've had a busy year. Um, a lot of family things, some health things going on. Won't get into all that. What I want to do right now is kind of talk to you a little bit about something that I used years ago, and I haven't seen a lot of people really mention it a whole lot. And it's really the idea behind this is so that people who are new to CNC may have one of these small machines like this little Comgrow Robo, which I actually really like. Not sponsored by them, but I really like this little machine. I actually have two of them. And then I have my larger Onefinity that I use primarily for everything. These are usually used for teaching purposes. And what I'm getting to is one thing that a lot of people want to try to do is these relief carvings and taking 3D models. What I want to do is share with you a tool that's been out there for, I know, 5 years, maybe longer than that. It's free. It is limited on what it can do, but it will get you a little bit of exposure on how the environment of like VCarve Pro. You have to excuse the noise. My neighbor decided he was going to start up his 49 Pontiac and run it for a little while. It's a nice day out right now. It's about 65, 66 degrees. So that rumble you hear in the background is my neighbor running his classic car. But there's a website called Design and Make, and that's where Vectric models usually come from. Vectric will open them primarily. But they have a piece of software that's called the Design and Make Machinist. It's free to download, and it's, like I said, it's a little bit limited on what it can do, but actually it's a lot limited on what it can do. You can import a model, you can carve it, you can cut it out. That's it. There are some parameters behind it, but the upside to it is it's free. It's absolutely free to do this. Now I'll walk you through some of it and walk you through some of the free examples they have. I'll walk you through one of them anyway. And, some people might get some use out of it. It'll give you an idea of what's involved in a 3D carve or a relief carve. I shouldn't say a 3D carve. But what's involved in a relief carving and how you manipulate those models to some extent. If you go into like using Vectric, VCarve Pro, or Aspire, there's a whole lot more you can do with them, but you're paying for that software too. So it's a little bit of back and forth. This is how Vectric tries to promote their 3D model store. We'll walk through it. Let's just get into it, and I hope this helps some of you out. Okay, we're going to start by going down and opening up your web browser. And then I'm going to go to Design and Make Website. And just click on that. I'm not going to actually download this. I'm just going to show you where it is. It's right here. The very first, this is Download Machinist. You can go there, and that's where you download it from this little download. Shop, and then you can go to Shop. Trying to remember where the files are. I think if you go into Shop and you can think if you type in free right there, it should bring up free models. Yeah, see this one right here. It's called the D&M Machinist Starter Kit. If you click on that,
You can scroll down here and download it for free right there. Once you've done that, you've got them downloaded and installed. Uh, I'm not going to go through all that. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But once you do that, um, I have it loaded right here. You just open the design and make, and that opens up the Machinist software. The Machinist software is pretty straightforward. You kind of follow through. It's got 1, 2, 3. It's got your different steps. Basically, you start by opening a model. Go here and you open a model. And for this one, I'm going to go back here to, let's see if I can go from my collection. Yeah, if you go to open models from my collection, it automatically goes to where you've got those saved. So if you go to this starter pack and let's just pick one. These are all different. You have to kind of look at them. Let's go with this one right here. Is the 999611B, I think. I don't remember exactly what that is. Let's not do that. We've already gotten past Christmas, so let's go with a different one. Let's go with this. I think it's this one right here. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. So you can see right here, this is what's going to be some kind of little swan, I think. And then you notice over here, this is already changed to your next step. You can choose what material you want it to look like. Uh, when you go to output it, I don't think that really matters. But then you just hit this little next button right here. So you hit next. Then it comes up and it asks you what dimensions you want. I think I'm going to do like a 5x5. So we'll see what 5. Let it automatically update. You see, here it says length, width, and height, and then it also says length, depth, or scale depth of X with X and Y. And then here where it says your datum position, it's just like you would do in Vectric. You choose your datum location. You choose that in VCarve Pro, or Aspire. It looks exactly the same almost. And then you choose whether your Z is going to be on top or on bottom. And then usually that's right here. Thickness of my material, I think, is 1/2 inch that I want to use. I'm going to be using some cedar that I have laying around. So we'll go 0.5 on that. And then right here where it says gap above, I always leave like a 0.0. Yeah, let's go 0.02. The reason I do that is that allows for any inconsistency in your material, um, because wood's not always perfectly flat. So if you tell it to start the model 0.02 below, that gives you a little bit of play in that, and it'll give you a nice even relief carving. Then you hit apply, and it just takes you to step 3 and 4. Since I'm using cedar and I know it's pretty soft, well, you have to go to next right here. It asks you if you want to create right here, whether you want to create a roughing pass. I'm not going to do that for this because I know cedar is pretty soft. I should be able to cut it pretty easy. Um, so I'm going to just go down here and say next because I'm not doing that. And then what I've done here, I've already added it, but I'll show you. This is doing your finish toolpath. That's where we are right now. So you click right here where it says select. This is where you select your bit. I'm using a ball nose that I've already got, and I've set it up as a 1 millimeter because that's what it is. It's a 1 millimeter ball nose. That the stock ones that come with it, or that come with the Machinist software, is this 0.25 to 0.5. the 0.25 and the 0.125, and then the 3, the 6, and the 12 millimeter uh, end mills, and then the 3 and the 6 millimeter ball nose. I added the 1 millimeter ball nose, and you can do that by just hitting this right down here where it says new, and then you type in your parameters. And so I'm not really going to go super fast with this because I'm running on the ComGrow, and the feed rate is defaulted at like 100, and I'm running a plunge rate at 30. That should be fine because in a relief carving, your plunge rate is really dependent on the model. Um, you can speed that plunge rate up, but really your model is going to dictate how how fast it moves. Because if you've got a lot of detail in it, it's not going to move up and down super fast. It's gonna That's not exactly correct. The model limits it as well. Let me put it that way. Anyway, so I'm choosing the 1 millimeter bit, depending on what you've got, on what you use, but you will, for any relief carving, you're going to really want to use either an engraving bit or a ball nose. And I like to use the tapered ball nose because the tapered ball nose will actually cut through the next pass before you actually get to the pass you're doing. And one thing that really does help, and you'll see that on all these ball nose configurations, is right here where it talks about step over. I'm doing a 10% step over. And so that means that I'm only going 10% the diameter. So I'm going 1/10 of a millimeter in every pass. So it's going to take a little while. That's why these relief carvings take some time. But if you've got a good bit and you do the right step over, you should have little to no sanding to do on these at all. So we just go ahead and click OK. And for effect, you can change the angle right here. We'll just leave it at 45. Why not? And then when you go to calculate, this is actually going to calculate your uh, tool path. And so you just hit calculate. And it takes a little bit of time, and I'm running on my laptop. And so all right, so the blue line is your tool path. You can go right here and click that on and off, and you just hit next. And then it's going to ask you if you want to cut it out. For this demo, I'm not going to cut it out. I'm just going to do it. Um, you could do a cutout if you wanted to, but then all it's going to do is it's going to cut out around the model right through here. But since we're not going to do that, just going to go next. And then you notice that this over here is all gray. And what you do to preview that is you can just hit right here where it says preview toolpath. And then it's going to give you an animated thing of what it's going to look like. Uh, just click next from there. And then you're at the point to where you save your toolpath. Now this is something I do specifically for the ComGrow. You don't have to use this, but this is what I found works pretty good. For me is I use the Xcarve G-code sender because I've had problems using just the universal G-code like generic or SandSmart or anything like that. For whatever reason, the Xcarve seems to work really good. It translates out fine. Things show up right in the G-code sender. So I just use that, and I've got mine set up in inches. You just choose your post processor here. There's a whole list of them. Uh, Some people may not like using the X curve, but I do. And then you just go right here where it says finishing toolpath and you output it. And I want to put this into my CNC files. I think I have one that I call demo. Yeah, right there. Let's call it Swan. And then one thing that I always do is I use these parentheses and I'll go with a, call it a 1 millimeter ball. That gives me an idea of what I'm actually using when I save my G-code. Sometimes I'll put in sizes and stuff like that just so I can keep up with what's what. And then you hit save from there. And that's all it is to design it in the Machinist. In just a second, we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to get it going. And I'll show you what that looks like. So what I normally use with the little ComGrow Robo is I like to use G-code or G-Sender. It's actually put out by the company that makes the long mill. It's actually a pretty good little G-code sender. But anyway, so you pull that up. I've already got mine connected, homed, and all that. I'm not going to go into how the G-code sender software works. I just going to show you how to load the file, and I'll set it up and we'll go from there. So basically, just like anything else, you would pick your G-code file that you want to load in. It loads it in. There it is. You can see the demo of it if you want to. And from that point, we're just going to get things set up and we'll carve. And let me take a minute or two and I'll have it set up and I'll kind of record this and let you see how it goes.
So there you go. We just finished a little carve, and it's kind of a simple one, but I hope it gives you some idea of what can be done with the design and make Machinist. Hope it helps some of you people that are just getting started. Like I said, I did this mainly for those that are starting with the smaller machines, wanting to get into some of this stuff. This is a free way to get in there and get your hands dirty a little bit with the playing with 3D models and getting some idea of how they're some of the techniques behind how you actually make one of these carve out on your machine. Hope this helps you. Like, subscribe, leave me a note. I appreciate y'all's time, and I will see you next time.